This conference will now be recorded.
So in the last class, we started with Spring Framework, right? And the main use of going with Spring Framework is to develop robust web applications and enterprise applications. The applications part we develop using Spring is robust and more efficient. Performance-wise, they are more faster. And we have developed a Spring application where we have created a Spring project using Maven, and we have added the project dependencies. That is simple core or bean dependency. When you add Spring context, it's going to add Spring core and bean dependencies. Then we have created a Spring Bean class book, and with the properties like ID and name, and we have injected using a construct injection. Then we have created a Spring Bean class library. We have created the Spring Bean class library. So here we are going with a list of books, and we are giving the value to this property using setter injection. And the very important one, the Spring Bean XML configuration file. Here we create the objects for our bean classes, and we inject one object into another. And finally, we have created the test class to test our application. Today, let us move to the next module, and this is a very, very important module, that is Spring DAO module. Spring DAO module. What is this DAO is? DAO stands for Data Access Object. DAO stands for what? Data Access Object, which is an interface or class with set of methods, to operate a database. So DAO can be what? It can be an interface or class, and it comes with what? Some set of methods. We write some set of methods mainly to operate the database. Means we go with the crude operation methods like inserting, updating, deleting, and retrieving the records from the table. So we do the crude operations inside the interface or class. We go with the methods. Then under this DAO, it goes with the modules like Spring JDBC module, Spring ORM module, where we integrate with Hibernate, Spring Data JPA module. Today, let us go with this Spring JDBC module. So let us come to this Spring JDBC module. If you take the plain JDBC, if you remember the plain JDBC, what we have learned in core part, plain JDBC. What are the steps in plain JDBC? We have to load the driver class, establish connection, and we have to keep the code in try and catch block. Means we have to handle the exceptions. Then second step, load the driver class, establish the connection, create statement, execute statement, then close statement, and close connection. These many steps we need to do in the case of plain JDBC. And in this, these are common steps like handling exceptions, load driver class, establish connection, then closing connection statement. These are all common steps. So these common steps need to be taken care by your Spring Framework. Spring Framework should give connection to us, and so that I can use that connection for executing the statements. Closing operations, handling of exceptions need to be taken care by the Spring Framework only. So these are common logics. The common logics need to be taken care by the framework. That's the main use of going with frameworks. So in the case of Spring JDBC, as a programmer, our work is only execute statement. We do what? In our Java code, we do only execute statement. We are not worried about handling of exceptions, then closing of connections or statement. These are not part of the programmer here. So Spring will take care of these closing operations. So this is the main beauty of your Spring module. So the burden to the programmers will be reduced when we use this Spring framework. Now, how to go with Spring JDBC? How to go with Spring JDBC is JDBC template class. JDBC template class of Spring API is used for Spring JDBC. This is the very important intro question. How to go with Spring JDBC means what is the answer we should say? By using JDBC template class. By using what? JDBC template class, we can go with what? Spring JDBC. Now, let us understand this with the example application. Let us go with the database side first. Let us create a table. Create a table, student, any table you wish, in MySQL. Go with the command create table student with ID int of 3, name of the student varchar of 10, int age, int of 2. Let us create this table. Open MySQL. Go with the password. Use Java 05, our database name. Now let us create table student with ID int of 3, name varchar of 10, then age int of 2. The table is created. Let us go with the next step. So since we are using Spring JDBC module, we need to add the dependencies. So what dependencies we need to add into the project? One is Spring JDBC module dependencies and one more MySQL connector as we are connecting to MySQL database. So you can add the dependency. Add the following dependencies in pom.xml file of Spring project. So the dependencies what we need to add is very simple. Just to go to the previous Spring dependency. Here we have added the Spring dependency, Spring context. Just copy this dependency and paste over here only. In between dependencies only you paste it here. And here you replace with Spring context with Spring JDBC. That's it. Here we are to replace with what? Spring JDBC. Then, and one more dependency what we need to add? MySQL connector. Go to search engine like Google and you can search here for MySQL connector. Open this Maven repository. Choose the version. Copy this piece of code and paste it over here. So we are adding two dependencies. Check here in Maven dependencies. Once we expand the project in Maven dependencies, see it has added Spring JDBC dependency and even MySQL connector, right? So two dependencies we need to add. One is JDBC and MySQL connector. And just copy the code from our program.xml file. Let us move to the next step here. Here, whenever you are working with the projects, we have to do the planning. Like planning is like what methods are required in our Bean class, like that, what methods are required. A planning. Generally, this planning is done by the team leaders or project leaders, and they do in the form of interfaces. The planning is done in the form of what? Interface. So let us create one interface. Create an interface. Student DAO. Understand carefully. Here we take the interface student DAO. When you end with DAO, that indicates that this interface goes with some set of methods which are used to operate a database. That indication I'm giving by ending with the DAO. So this is the standard we follow when you are creating projects, when you are working in projects. So it's not a syntax rule. I'm saying only standards. So that if someone sees this DAO, they can easily understand that it comes with some set of methods mainly used to operate database. That indication we are providing. Now, where we have to create in com.spring package of src main Java folder of Spring project. Student DAO. Let us create this. Under src main Java, you can see the package com.spring. Right click on com.spring and say new interface. Student DAO. Now in this, let us go with the methods like public void insert student. Insert student. To this we'll pass ID, name, and age. So what are the arguments we are passing? These three values, ID, name, and age. These three values we want to insert into student table. That's the use of this insert student method. Next method, public void update student. This method, it takes two arguments, ID and age. Whatever the ID we give, we want to update the age. For this given ID, we want to update the age. The next one, public void delete student. This delete student, if you provide the ID, this record should get deleted. The public list map string comma object list students. So whenever we call the method list students, it should return the list of records present in student table. And about this return type, I'll elaborate when we write the code of list students. So this is the interface we have created, and it's like a planning. So generally the plan is done by the project leaders or team leaders. So that is the main use of interfaces. Interfaces is like specification, doing the planning part. Clear all of you? Any questions up to here? Now, once this interface is created, this interface is given to the team members, the other developers. So the team member should implement this interface, and they should write the code inside the methods based on the given documentation. So let us go with the next step, very important step. Create a Spring Bean class. How the name should be? See, student DAO IMPL. The name should be, we have to take the same interface name and we have to end with what? IMPL. So that means this is the implementation class of this interface that we are indicating by going with this standard names. Then where in com.spring package. Student DAO IMPL. Let us create this. Right click on com.spring package and it's a new class student DAO IMPL. It's main method. Sorry, not required main method. Now, which class is used for Spring JDBC? JDBC template, right? And before that, we have to make this class implements student DAO. See, we are getting error here. So what we have to do as a programmer, just to keep mouse pointer on this error and click here, add unimplemented methods. That's it. The methods will come in front of you. The methods which are present in interface, that will come in front of you. Based on the document, we write the code inside the methods. Now, before we write the code inside the methods, which class is used for Spring JDBC? JDBC template, right? We use what? JDBC template. Now take that JDBC template as a property. Wait, JDBC template. Import the package for JDBC template belongs to the package org.springframework.jdbc.core. Right? Now, How to know the package details? It's very simple. If you expand your library, backend dependencies, here you can see Spring JDBC jar file. If you expand, we can see here org.springframework.jdbc.core. Under core, you can find our class JDBC template class. Here, JDBC template class is present in which package? org.springframework.core.jdbc.core package. So that's the reason we are importing here. Right? Now first of all, let us inject this value. How to inject? We are going with a setter injection. Public void set JDBC template, which takes argument JDBC template. And here we'll say this dot JDBC template equal to JDBC template. So we are giving the value to the property using setter injection. Now let us inject this property value into the bin class, and how to inject? Using Spring Bin XML configuration file. After injecting, we'll write the code inside the methods. Now let us go with the major important step here. Create Spring Bin XML configuration file jdbc.xml, any name. I'm going with the name jdbc.xml in src main Java folder. jdbc.xml. Right click on src main Java and say new other XML file jdbc.xml. Take the template of Spring Bin XML configuration file. What is the root tag here? Bins. Bins is the root tag. Start doing the configuration. Start like this. Bin ID equal to student. In the test class, when you refer to the bin ID student, it returns object of class form.spring.student.dao impl. In the test class, when you refer to this bin ID student, it returns object of its class student.dao impl. In student.dao impl, how many properties do we have? One property. And how we are giving value to property? Setter injection. So here we have to use which element now? Property. When we go with setter injection, we have to use which element? Property. The name of the property is JDBC template. And we will say reference JDBC template. For every reference, we have to create a bin. Create a bin. Bin ID equal to what name we have to take? The reference name, JDBC template. What is the reference name we have taken? That name only we have to mention here. Bin ID JDBC template, and it's an object of class JDBC template. Property JDBC template, it's an object of its class JDBC template. Present in which package? Copy the package from here. Come to this jdbc.xml and paste over here. We have to mention with the package name. In this class JDBC template, it goes with a property name data source. Data source. Reference data source. Now create a bin. For every reference, we have to create a bin. Bin ID equal to data source. Then it's an object of class driver manager. An object of its class here, driver manager data source. Present in the package org.springframework .jdbc data source or driver manager data source. Now in this class driver manager data source, it goes with 4 database connection properties like this: property name, driver class name. What is the driver class name to connect to MySQL? Value equal to com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. Next property name, URL. What is the value? JDBC colon MySQL colon / localhost colon 3306 / Java 05, our database name. Next property name, username, value root. Next property name, password, value root. That's it. With this, it completes our XML file. So in the test class, when you refer to this bean ID student, it creates object of student DAO IMPL with a property JDBC template. And it's an object of class JDBC template. And JDBC template goes with a property data source. And this data source, it's an object of class driver manager data source, and it goes with these 4 database connection properties. So in the bean ID, in the test class, when you refer to student, it creates object of JDBC template with this database connection. Now this JDBC template is ready with the database connection. Clear up to here the XML file? Any questions? No. Now let us write the code inside the methods. Now let us go with one by one. Insert student. Go with the SQL command. What is the command to insert? Insert into student values question marks. Now we should execute this. How to execute? Simple. By using JDBC template, just use the method update, pass your SQL command and replace question marks with your arguments. Then go with the message student inserted. This is simple. So in Spring JDBC, I'm doing only execute statement. We are not worried about database connection, closing operations, handling exceptions. All these things are taken care by your Spring. So we have, as a Java programmer, inside my Java code, I'm doing only what? Execute statement. So these 3 question marks are replaced with what values? Our argument values, ID, name and age. Clear how to do insert operation? Now, coming to update student, go with the SQL command, update student, set age equal to question mark, where ID equal to question mark. Update student, set age equal to question mark, where ID equal to question mark. Now say JDBC template dot update, pass your SQL command, replace first question mark with age argument, second question mark with ID argument. So this first question mark will be replaced with age argument value, second question mark will be replaced with ID argument value. Go with the message student updated. Delete student. Go with the SQL command. Delete from student where ID equal to question mark. Now say JDBC template dot update, pass your SQL command with the ID. So whatever the ID we give, based on this ID, the record will be deleted. Go with the message student deleted. Next one, list students. This is important. String SQL command is select star from student. Now say return JDBC template dot query for list and password SQL command. So this query for list method returns, understand carefully, query for list method returns what? List map string comma object. This is the return type of this query for list method. Now let me explain this return type. So for this, when we use the command select star from books, when we use select command like select star from books, see, it is displaying the list of books to us. So what it is? It's a list here. This complete thing is what? It's a list of books. That's the reason here it is list. And how this list, in which format? These are our column names. These are our column names and these are our records. The column names acts like keys. The column headings of your table acts like what? Keys, and the records will act like values. In Java, how to manage key value pairs? How to manage key value pair? Map. In Java, how to manage key value pair? Map. Then keys are of what type? See, the column headings are what type? String. Keys are of what type? String. But what about values? We don't know what values we store. That's the reason it is object. We don't know what values we store. That's the reason it is what here? Object. Key is of type string. Value is of type object. So this is the explanation of return type here. Clear all of you? The return type concept here? Any questions? So I'm doing very slowly. I'm doing only one module every day, every class, so that you can practice it with the same example and you can go with your own example. So instead of student, you can go with employee, customer, anything, book, like that, anything, any class you can take and work. The way to work is same, only the class will change. Now, the bean class is ready now. Now we have to test our application. The final step, create a test class, JDBC test in com.spring package. This we need to run. Right click on com.spring and it's a new class, JDBC test. Main method. Now, what is our first step? We have to load our Spring Bean XML configuration file. So how to load? By using the interface application context equal to the implementation of application context interface is done by using what? Class path XML application context. Go with the name of the file jdbc.xml. So this will load the Spring Bean XML configuration file jdbc.xml. Import the packages. Now get the bin. So here student DAO equal to call the method context.getBean. What's the bean ID? Student. So when you say here context.getBean student goes to jdbc.xml file, sees the bean ID student, create object of student DAO IMPL with a property JDBC template of type JDBC template class and with a property data source, and it goes with this database connection properties finally. That these many steps will happen when you call this method context.getBean. And since getBean method returns object, go with typecasting. Now call the methods. Just call the method DAO.insert student, pass the ID 101, some name and some age. Run this code. So we get the message student inserted. And if you check your table, select star from student. Here the record has been inserted. Right? Clear this application up to here? Any questions? Compulsory you need to practice this. Now for this ID 101, we want to update the age. We want to change the age here. So for that, which method we have to call? DAO dot update student. For 101, we want to change the age to 22. So previous age is 20. Now we want to update to 22. Now see, when we run, we get message student updated. And if you check your table, you can see for 101, the age has been updated to see here 22. Now let us delete this record. DAO dot delete student with the ID 101. Now see, when we run, it says student deleted. And if you check your table, there are no records. Right? Now let us insert the records. Insert into student values 101, the name and age. 102, the name and age. 103, the name and age. We are having totally 3 records in the table. Now let us display these records. Now the select command. For this, we have to say list map string comma object student list equal to call the method DAO dot list students. When you call the method DAO dot list students, it is going to connect to the table, pull out all the records from the table and stores into what here? List here. This list, student list. Then import the packages. Now this student list is what type here? See, map type. Now traverse the student list. It's of what type? Map type. So say here for map a student colon student list. So this student list, since it's of type map, so we are saying map some object stud colon student list. We are traversing student list. So this loop will repeat until what times? Depends on the number of records present in our table. In our example, 3 times. Now take one record. Now take one record. This one. We have to take one record and display. How to display? See, stud dot get of id. What is this get of id? Since stud is of type map, in map we are having which method? Get. To the get method, if you pass the key, it is going to return the value. So in this case, these are our keys. These are our keys. These are our what? Keys. And these are our values. So if you pass get of key, if you call the method get of key, so what is our key? ID. So when you pass get of ID, we get the value of that ID. So what it's going to return here? 101. If you pass get of name, it's going to return raw like this. So in this one, this column headings are our keys. So to the map, using get method, if you pass the key to the get method, it returns the value of the given key. So when you say stud dot get of id, it returns the value of id. That is student id. So in similar way, stud dot get of name, stud dot get of age. So to the stud, we are passing using get method, we are passing the case. When you pass the case, it's going to return the value. So what is the value? Record. So like that, this loop will repeat for 3 times. So when we run, we get the list of students on our console. Got it? Clear all of you? right? We are trying to learn the concepts here. We are trying to learn all these concepts, pulling, inserting, record, updating, everything. Then even we'll see how to take care of presentation. Here we are not taking care of presentation. I'm just displaying on console screen. But in reality, the data should be displayed on browser. We develop web application and the data should get displayed on the client browser in tabular format like that. So presentation part, everything, these all things also will be developing. So we are trying to understand the models here first. First, what is Spring Core model, Spring Bean model, Spring JDBC model. Like that, we'll go with Spring ORM module. Then we go with Spring MVC. There we start off with web application. So once we know how to go with web application, then we can use same modules to get the data from table, and we even take care of doing presentation on browser. So those all things also will be learning, right? So please do practice on this Spring, very, very important one. As the days goes on, the things will become complex. So please practice now only, so that when I use this code in our applications, you should feel very easy to understand, right? Now that's about Spring JDBC model. Remember the major important intro question. Which class is used for Spring JDBC means the simple answer, JDBC template class. This is the main thing what we should remember for interview time, right? Then tomorrow we go with the next module, Spring ORM module, where we are going to integrate with Hibernate framework, right? Thank you all.